Hi, my name is Sara. We'll be working on some yoga today. Focus is going to be our core and hips. So if you need to, you can grab a towel, a t-shirt, if you are not as flexible. So let's go ahead and get started laying down on our back. So all the way back. If you have really tight hips, you can bring the bottoms of your feet together like a froggy and then bend into the knees. Little frog, yeah. Bring your feet all the way up and back. Go. So you don't want to be tense here, so relax the shoulders. Good. Widen your feet out just a little bit if you are not in that froggy position. And we want to start in on some breathing. So you'll inhale through the nose and exhale back out through the nose. You want to keep this consistent breath going. This helps the heat stay locked into the body, your natural heat. It helps open up your muscles, loosens the joints. So you can do this for about 30 seconds. And you don't want to be too tense. So tuck your chin all the way down. There you go. So we'll bring both knees into the chest. Good. Arms come out into a T position. Drop both knees over to the right. Small twist. Good. And you'll start to look over to your left side, opposite direction. So you can stay here for as long as you need to, but about 30 seconds is good. And you want to keep the jaw loose. Relax your hips all the way. Good. So knees come back to center. Drop them over opposite side, left side, and look over your right arm. And again, be mindful of your breath. You want to keep it going and consistent. We'll come back to center, knees come back to center. Place your left foot onto the floor. Good, right leg extends up towards the sky. Flex the toes towards the face. Good. Relax the hips all the way down. Good. Now let's bring our hands behind the thigh or knee, or you can grab a towel and bring it around the back. Extend your left leg all the way onto the floor. All the way straight, good. So your shoulders should be completely onto your floor or mat. Head and shoulders rest on the floor. The towel you can use, if you start to feel your shoulders come up, that's when you know you need to lower your foot back down. So try to keep it as straight as possible. Every few breaths or every 10 seconds or so, see without having a leg shake. There you go. Yeah, you don't want to cause any tension here. We're just gently opening up the hamstring. Okay, keep your legs straight. Take this. Okay. You don't need to force this, just gentle. Okay, so lower your right leg down, swap out the legs. Left leg comes up. Same thing, toes flex towards the face, relax your shoulders all the way onto your mat or floor. And once you start to feel that tension in the hamstring, stop right there or go back down a little bit lower. So your shoulders are coming off of the mat, you want them all the way down. Good. Good, release that leg back onto the floor. Good, so we'll bring both knees back up, feet are on the floor, so feet on the ground, knees bent up. Cross your right foot over the left, like a number 4. So ankle to knee, foot is flexed. Again, you can use that towel behind the thigh or loop your hands behind the thigh, interlace the fingers together. Both feet are flexed. And you want to imagine that you're pressing that right knee away from you. There you go. And this foot here stays flexed. You should feel this on the outer right hip. And for a little bit more stretch, you can straighten into opposite leg. So just stay right there then. You don't need to, if you start to feel the tension, just stay right here and then actively press that right knee back. Recline pigeon. Good, now release this left leg all the way back down to the mat. Cross your leg completely over. Good, like you're sitting with your crossed leg. Arms come back out into a T. Drop both knees over to the left. Look at your right hand. And again, you can stay here for as long as you need to, but we'll go ahead and come back to center. Knees bent up, and we'll do opposite side. So left leg crosses over the right into the number 4. Foot stays flexed. And then this left knee is gonna press back. If this feels good here, stay here. If you would like to, loop your hands around the back of the thigh. Keep this leg flexed, this foot flexed, excuse me. Once you start to feel your shoulders lift off of the mat, lower your leg just a little bit down. So we'll release our right foot to the floor. Cross your left leg completely over, arms come back out into a T, drop both knees over to the right. Good, and then look over your left shoulder. So we'll come back to center. And then knees come to chest. You can either roll yourself up to a seat or roll over to the side, come up to an easy seated position. Swoop your legs around, we come to all fours, tabletop position. So for your tabletop, you want to find some alignment here. If you have an arched back, belly button comes up. Knees are about hip width distance apart. Shoulders right above the wrist. So bring your shoulders back. Good. Fingertips spread super wide. And then you want to actively move your shoulders away from the wrist. So if you're slumped down, press yourself up. Good, extend your right leg out behind you. Toe stays into the mat and push into the back heel. Your wrists naturally go ahead of you, so bring them back in. Knee stays in line with the hip. You want a straight line here, there you go. So left arm extends ahead of you, opposite arm. Palm faces in. If you would like to, have this back leg float up, but keep the toes flexed towards the face. So find full extension through the middle finger. So go as far forward as you can, press into that back heel, belly button pulls up. Good, knee to elbow. Good, lengthen back out. 2 more, bring it in. 1 more. Bring it in, hold here, see if you can kiss the knee, round into the back. Good, lengthen out 1 more time and come back to your tabletop. Good, left side, left leg extends out behind you. Find your alignment, so make sure that knee that's onto the mat is right underneath the hip, shoulders right above the wrist, right arm extends ahead of you. Good, flex that back leg if it's floating up, belly button stays up. Good, knee to elbow. Good, lengthen back out. You want to move with control here, so you want to feel your core working. We'll do this 3 times, and on that last one, hold. See if you can bring the knee closer into the body. Good, lengthen back out, and we find our tabletop position. Good, so find that alignment again. Make sure your knees are right underneath the hips. Good, actively move your shoulders away from the wrist. Good. So we're gonna lift off of the toes. So we'll be on the tippy toes. We still wanna have this tabletop position. Your shins and knees will be about 1 inch off of the mat. So your knees are hovering. And imagine that you're pressing your wrist towards your knees. You should feel a little tremble here. So you wanna hold this for about 30 seconds. And after that, we'll start to extend our legs for our first downward facing dog. Good, so find some movement here. Pedal the legs out, bend into one leg and the other. Tuck your chin all the way. Good. So we'll shift forward to a high plank. So your alignment should be that your shoulders are right over the wrist, fingertips spread wide, feet about hip width distance apart. If you need a modified plank, come to the knees. Good. Without moving the hands or feet, go right back to your down dog. This is about the distance you want between your hands and feet. If you need to bend into the legs, do so. Drop the heels. There you go. Good. So let's go into your down dog. We're gonna go high into the tippy toes. Take a deep bend into the knees like you're a bear. And then we'll straighten through the legs and then drop the heels. So that small movement we're gonna do about 3 times. So go high into the tippy toes, take a deep bend into the knees, straighten back out and drop the heels. Good, one more time. High tippy toes, bend into the knees, straighten back out, drop the heels. Good. So a couple of self-adjustments. Take a look at the fingertips. Make sure they're spread super wide. Good. You want your gaze, you want to be looking at your belly button. You want to press your hips as high as you can go. And if this is a little hard on the hamstrings, take a little bend into the knees. If you can see your heels, shift them in or out so you no longer see them. Good. So start to inchworm your way to your hands. And then we'll come to a dead hang. Shoulders, neck, hang heavy. Keep your knees bouncy. Good, slow your roll up to a stand. Good, arms extend up overhead. If you have an arched back, bring the tailbone down, relax the shoulders, plug them back. Good, feet are about hip width distance apart, soften your jawline, so no tension in the jaw. And then we'll go ahead and forward fold, swan dive all the way. Good, we'll take a flat back here. Fingertips can graze the mat or the floor or your shins. And then we'll fold again, plant your hands, high plank. Good, shift your shoulders 2 inches or 1 inch over the fingertips, so we're shifting forward. You'll take a push up here, but move with control. So we lower for 3, 2, and keep the hips high. Lower the shoulders all the way to the elbows, and then untuck the toes. So tops of the feet are pressed down, you'll press up, upward facing dog. Extend into the knees and hips so that your thighs are lifted from the mat. Good. Move your shoulders away from the ears, and then you go back to your down dog. Or a child's pose if you need to. Take a child's pose, it's good. I guess everyone needs one. Okay, let's go back up to tabletop and back to your down dog. Okay, extend your right leg high. Good. You'll bring your knee to your nose. This is your core work, so shift forward to that plank, knee to nose. We lengthen back out, right leg high, knee to the outside of the elbow. Lengthen back out, knee to left elbow, opposite side twist. Good, let's lengthen back out. And we step through, bring your leg to the outside of the hands. So into a lizard lunge here. If you need to lower onto your back knee, do so. Good, you want to keep that shoulder hooked into the inside of the knee. And if you're real flexible in the hips here, you're good on here. You can bring your right hand underneath the calf. There you go. But keep that knee locked into the shoulder, close to the body. Okay, if you have that hand behind, bring it back to the inside of the foot. Heel toe your foot into center. Good, lower onto your back knee, and we'll start to straighten through your right leg. Hip shift back, toes press up towards the body. You want to flat back. Naturally, your right hip is going to move outward. Bring it in line to meet the other hip. Press your toes up towards the face. So come back to your low lunge, and then we'll straighten through the leg. Shift the hips back. Good, 2 more times. We come forward, low lunge, exhale back. 1 more, inhale forward, exhale back. Good, we come back to that low lunge, plant your hands, lift off of that back leg. We send it back, 3-legged dog. Good, keep this leg extended here. Bend the knee, open up into that right hip. Good, so keep your right leg high, bend the knee, good. Keep that foot flexed like you're pressing into a wall behind you. Good, extend your right leg high, and we come back to our down dog. If you need a child's pose here, you can take it. Good. Okay, let's come back up through tabletop and back to your down dog. Good, left leg comes high. Knee to nose, shift forward. Good, extend it back out. Knee to left elbow. Good, lengthen back out. Knee opposite elbow twist, or if you did a twist last time, do the opposite. Good, lengthen back out. And we step that foot to the outside of the hands. Lizard lunge here. And you can stay here for as long as possible, or as long as you need to. Keep that knee close into the body. If you need to lower onto that back leg, do so. Good, let's heel toe that foot into center in between your hands to come to a low lunge here. And we'll do the same thing. We'll start to straighten through that left leg. Shift your hips back. Good. Same thing as last time. There you go, onto your knee. So we'll do this movement about 3 times. So we go back to that low lunge and then shift it back. You don't want your knee to go past the toes. Stop right at the ankle. Good. We'll meet back in that low lunge. We'll plant our hands, shift it back, 3-legged downward facing dog. Good, same thing here, bend into that floating leg. Bend the knee, stack that left hip over the right. You can take a peek under that left shoulder. Left shoulder, left shoulder. Good, extend your left leg high and back to your down dog. Good. Let's bring our, let's go back to your, keep your alignment and your downward facing dog. You don't want to close it in. So lift your right leg high. Good. We'll bring our knee to the right wrist, right behind the right wrist. And then our left foot, our foot is going to come to our left wrist for your pigeon pose. So before we lay onto that back leg, you want to make sure that the toe comes right out behind you and that the knee, if I'm standing behind you, I want to be able to see that knee peek out from the right side. And we want to make sure that our weight is evenly distributed between the body. So if you have an opening, if you're sitting on that right hip, bring it over to the left or to center. Good. You can stay here with your hands onto the floor, or you can walk your hands forward to fold over. So stay onto your hands, good. So you want to be here for about 2 minutes, and then remember to keep your hips centered. This takes a little while to warm up at home, so you'll be here for about 2-3 minutes, and you'll start to find some length and opening. So let's walk your hands back up, and then untuck your back toe, so toe gets untucked, and then we go back to our 3-legged dog. Shake out the leg, Good. And down dog. We'll do left side. Take your left leg high, and then knee comes to the outside of the wrist, and then the ankle moves forward to the opposite wrist. Extend your right leg out behind you. Take a look at that back toe. You want to make sure it's coming directly out of the ankle. Good. I'm going to fix your toe. Yeah, you did that. And then again, stay propped up, or you can start to work your way all the way to the floor. And then if you're down all the way on the floor, you want to make sure the hips are in line with the shoulders. So walk yourselves back up. Untuck your back toe. We make a three-legged dog here. Left leg extends high. Come back to your down dog. Good. Let's heel toe the feet in together as one leg. So we're just in our down dog, our legs are together, and we'll come onto our knees, sit it back, hands come by the feet. Good. And then you'll prop yourselves back up, and then swoop your legs around in front of you. Keep your knees bent up, and then you'll start to lower all the way back down. You can extend your legs wide ahead of you, all the way, like you're laying down. Spread them wide. And you can take about 30 seconds to a minute here just to recover and come back to like a natural breath. So this is a good core and hips yoga sequence. You can stay in these poses for as long as you need to, and use your towels for props or anything you have at home. Thank you.